Oh yeah, I've mentioned this in the server, but I played Morimori.
Oh yeah, cool.
It is a weird game, especially once you wake up from the dream world into the. It's sort of reversed in that the real world is the dream world. It's wild. It is good but wild.
Yeah, that sounds very cool.
That's how most of the world thinks about dreams, or did, till our Western materialism ruined everything. Western materialism
Oh,
ruined
oops.
everything.
I mean, to be fair, Mori is made by an Asian American artist, so that may explain it.
What? Camera lose focus like that.
Maybe you just lost. Maybe the HD remasters of your life is
Oh,
lagging.
right. That's why it's doing that. Okay. Um, while you guys are talking, sorry, I'm just I'm trying to make sense of the audio. Okay, so
Do your thing.
I can hear the audio and it was repeating because OBS was playing the audio, which was causing the repeat. So now that I've paused my own stream, Pinckney is back. Yes, Squishy Puff Dave. Pinckney has returned.
Hey, Squish Puff Dave.
I'm also back.
And so has Cleveland, aka Minerva. So we're the gang's all here, except for Matt, who's going to be gone for a little while. So
It's a trade-off. We traded off.
yep. Oh, of course I forgot to.
Vacation without any permission.
Of course I forgot to change the stream info. Okay, so those of you who are in the chat right now, can you hear all of us? I just
One,
want
two,
to.
three. Check, check, check.
What's poppin', What's
Okay.
poppin', everybody? How y'all doing?
What's hopping? Is that what the kids are saying now, Cleveland?
That's what I say at the very least.
What's
I don't
hopping?
know.
Cleveland,
Everyone-
child from the 1940s. Hey, all you hip cats.
Gee whiz!
Mamas.
Submissions.
This,
Now I don't hear. Now I don't hear Dylan.
there's a quote from some British writer. I think it might even be like Lewis or something that said like, nothing charms me more than knowing that American children actually say "gee whiz."
Well, I guess it's like finding out that little Cockney children actually say stuff like crikey. Now, England was very disappointing that way when I went over there on book tour. Like, I remember talking to my editor, who's a Scot, and I said, a Bobby. You know, I saw a cop and he had the cool hat on and everything. And he turns to me, and I can't imitate his Scottish brogue, but he turns to me and he says, we don't call them Bobbies. We call them fucks.
Well, I mean, he's a Scot, so he probably.
I guess that's right. So maybe he's a Scottish poet who then went on to become a pretty big deal poet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, published in the New Yorker and had some really well respected books.
Wow. Very cool. Okay, so I think everything is now officially
Never heard a better dismissal of a poet.
interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's cool. I'm sorry, I'm trying to juggle many different
Care less. No,
many
it's fine.
timelines and things in my
Didn't
mind.
care. It doesn't matter. Like
See,
it doesn't matter.
Here's the thing. The day is not about celebrating Scottish poets. It's about celebrating entrance to our narrative game jam number 3.
Yes, and wow, what a turnout! What a bunch of what product we've seen.
Yeah.
What growth
I know.
from Game Jam number 1, and a lot of growth from Game Jam number 2, which I guess never got publicized.
It never got publicized. It was a very strange experience running Game Jam number 2 because we got to feel what it's like to be completely ignored by everything we needed in order to make something successful.
Yeah, you were being shadow banned.
Yeah, it was a very strange experience. But number 3 has been our best jam by far. We got some.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the stuff that's in it is cool.
Mhm.
I'm really impressed. Like
Yeah. Well,
you know,
and you haven't seen a
so
lot of the games played, right?
yeah, no, I mean, but I've heard about them and
Yeah, right.
I've seen webpage and stuff. So, but and we should also mention
Yep.
that the podcast is sponsored by the Digital Humanities Lab of the College of Liberal Arts at Southern Illinois University. I'm the director. Dylan is the co-director,
Yeah.
shall we say?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm
Great,
fine with
yeah.
that. That was a way better title than I thought you were about to say. I thought you were going to say mule
Well, no, I
or
mean, it really, and we are more and more the lab, the activities of the DH lab, the Digital Humanities Lab at SIUC are becoming intertwined with the Neophyte Studios.
Mhm.
If you want to give me a title, I could be like the undergrad,
representative.
representative.
The test player. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. And Cleveland Benedict. So this element of the lab's activities is becoming more and more important. And the reason it's important isn't because of Dylan, it's because of all of the participants, all the people who entered the jam, all the people who are playing the games for the jam, all of the people who come to the Discord. Thanks a lot. If you all keep supporting it, then the lab will keep supporting it.
Yep.
Right?
And there's a compounding exponential factor to that where the support begets more support begets more support.
If you tell a friend who tells a friend, and and then I can put more resources, cash and personnel from the lab into it, and we can build this community into something that will be. I mean, I just saw, when I logged on, I hadn't been on Discord in a while, and it had 57 updates or something that I had to do. And then the note comes up and they go, we've had to rebrand and, we're redoing our look and stuff like that. And they said, well, we started out, in a room with 5 mismatched desks in, 2016 or 2015.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's us, right? I mean, that's Neophyte Studios Network.
Right.
Is we've got a kind of a funky VR lab in a building off
a brewery
of Illinois University, right? That they're turning into a brewery. And 5 years from now, I suspect it'll be quite different from what it is now.
Absolutely,
so, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Well, and it all comes back to just how good I think the community has been, and I think it's also been I think we have a unique standpoint that a lot of other channels and a lot of other just entities don't have, right? Since we're funded by a university, it affords us particular good things and also interesting hurdles that have created some interesting things that I think make it quite unique in that we can, now we're looking to basically start an all access television channel on Twitch.
It'd be, I want to just be basically Weird Al's movie UHF.
Right. Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
So
that's
it's
my vision of
this Twitch stream brought to you by viewers like you.
Yes.
Yep.
Right. But with this interesting focus on content and narrative generation and, the blending of things. But anyway, so the jam this time around was very, very interesting. And the theme for it was the outer edge. That was what I had submitted as the theme for this jam. And so that could be interpreted narratively. It could be interpreted mechanically. And we got a little bit of both. And we ended up with 11 submissions. One of which I'll do a little bit on at the end of the stream, but one of which we're actually going to play not in the game jam streams. We're actually going to kind of do its own. We're going to play it for another stream. So you're not going to see that one, but, the others, I've selected the first half that we're going to play today. And if we can't get through them, it's fine. We'll just move them to the next stream and, figure it out from there. So that's how it's going to be organized. We're going to try and do half today, half next week. and I've tried to get a blend of like ones that interpreted it narratively and some that interpreted it mechanically. And so yeah, we're just going to comment on the stories. So actually, the very first one that we're going to do is going to be Monster. And oops, I don't know why it's making me reinstall it because I already installed it, but whatever. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share Monster. Now, can the hosts see that screen share?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've got it. Not quite full screen, but
Sure.
I've got it up on my screen, and I love already the static.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Television screens looked like in my boyhood.
Right. Yeah. And this is actually Squishy Puff Dave's submission.
Awesome.
So Squishy Puff Dave did
It's not as it seems. Well,
yes.
That seems correct to me.
So this is Monster. I have to say personally, this was one of my favorite games from the Jam. I liked them all, but this was a personal, this game just kind of hit me in a way that, I don't know. Is why I had to start with it.
We should hook Squishy Puff Dave up with the Monster Professor.
Oh,
podcast.
Yeah. We absolutely should.
There's a game called Monster. I mean, and they spent a lot of time on that podcast talking about the word monster and what it means. And, because it comes from Latin, essentially just meaning omen.
Oh, really?
Right? So, it's a much broader word than our current English, the way we construe it.
Interesting.
It means like a sign that the world is going to hell, basically. I mean, all is not as it seems is actually a pretty good translation of the word monster.
Very interesting. Isn't it so Latin, cool how people just intuit the ancient narrative, whether they realize it or not?
Exactly right. This stuff is just built into our DNA. It's in our bones. All is not as it seems is not a bad translation for the word monster.
It's very interesting.
And I thought I was the linguist.
Okay, so WASD to move, J to attack, spacebar to continue.
Oh, I love this already. That looks like me.
So you think that's you, right?
What's that?
You think that the orange guy is you, but you're actually the monster.
It looks like me. Oh, but are you the green thing?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, well, that's what we call anagnoresis, right? It's a really early anagnoresis.
Right.
Anagnoresis is, in Greek drama, anagnoresis is self-discovery.
Right.
Right, but it's a self-revelation that you aren't at all what you thought you were.
All is not as it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a beautiful anagnoresis.
Yeah. Right. So you first, the art is just incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Right. Like just unbelievable. Second, I think the most interesting thing, and we'll talk about this a little bit more at the end of this game, but the most interesting thing to me about this game is the expectation that it plays with that you are the hero, right?
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, it got me absolutely.
Right.
That's the, I love being not tricked exactly that, but I trick myself.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The game lets me trick myself.
Right. And
wow, and the landscape is alive. Oh my God. So you just chased him down a hole.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I died. Damn it.
That's beautiful, that monster. I'm trying to think what that reminds me of.
So the unique difficulty to this game is that the perspective isn't following you because you are the antagonist, right?
Right.
Which is such a crazy unique way.
It's there are books that it reminds me of. I guess he's not very well known anymore, but there's a writer who was well known in the early '90s. A guy named Stephen Wright, not the Mordant comic.
Yeah.
But his most famous book is a book called Meditations in Green, which was kind of it's sort of a catch-22 for Vietnam in a way or something. He was actually, I liked Wright's work better than I liked Tim O'Brien's on Vietnam.
Interesting.
But he wrote a book. Oh, damn it! Don't ever get old, people in the chat. You forget things that you should absolutely know. I can't remember the name of the novel, but it was this weird sort of Where's Waldo, where the main character actually would show up in the chapters of the novel. The chapters of the novel sort of read like story.
Okay.
And you would have to figure out who in the story was the protagonist from the beginning of the novel.
Uh-huh.
Right? Because he showed up in different guises and he behaved in different ways and stuff like that. So in a way, like the camera wasn't following the person you thought it ought to follow. Or
interesting.
Your belief about the structure of a novel made you think it ought to be following.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something like that. I'm going to look up the novel because why can I not remember the name of that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm very interested to hear about that. I'm sure Squishy Pup Dave is too. And thank you for following Minecraft Diagonrock. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the name. And Tulang says, everything looks so alive. Do you notice the eyes following the person in orange? I did not notice that, but now I'm going to be looking for it. Because, oh wow, yeah, it totally does. I had no idea. That is super cool.
Going Native is the name of the book.
Vying Native?
Stephen Wright, Going Native, right. Yeah, it follows this guy who's a serial killer, but you don't know which character in any given chapter is the serial killer until you figure out which one. I remember talking to him about the novel, and I said it's it's Where's Waldo,
right.
With serial killers and for grown-ups. I was pretty happy.
That's very cool.
That's a really amazing piece of work.
Right. That is awesome. Yeah. And the art style.
Every aspect of that. I mean, because I would watch a television show in that style.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that could be on Adult Swim easily.
Yeah. It's reverse Alien 3, right? Because it's prisoners in space being hunted by the monster.
That's funny. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah,
but I guess they are wearing their orange.
Yeah, they're definitely prisoners, right? They have to be. And especially considering the end, I don't know if you were able to see it, but the end is the guy has the guy you're chasing has a gun and he shoots at you a couple times and then he jumps through a portal. And when you jump through the portal, you end up behind this barbed wire fence, and then men beat you to death off screen, which is just hilarious. But I've never seen a game derive its difficulty from intentionally placing you as the antagonist perspective. You know what I mean? Like the game being so focused on making sure that the protagonist is who you can see. And then because the game's actually pretty hard. It's pretty hard to jump when you can't see.
Play it. I would never get anywhere with it because I'm not sophisticated enough. Like I can't, pat my head and rub my belly kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to disassociate myself from the camera's gaze.
Right. Yeah. It's quite difficult and very interesting in that way. But yeah, and what Tulang's pointed out being that even the eyes of the world follow, like the eyes that are built into like the blocks, the green blocks, they follow the men in orange. So like there's an entire world that is kind of dedicated to directing your attention.
An MFA thesis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would have no trouble if instead of, 210 pages of an unfinished, Bildungsroman, uh, about, some kid who grew up regretting having no life experience, that were, there were just like 70 levels of that.
Yeah,
With
right.
various dream elements and, various sort of levels of surrealism and surprising my expectations.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a very surprising
So
thing.
surprising. And
Which
it's a world. It's a whole world expressed in a very compact space.
Yeah.
With very few details.
Yeah, I mean, there's no text. There's basically what you have to work with is the expressions of the men, the designs of the monster, the color palette, the music, and that's basically it. But you get a whole sense of like what's going on. Like there's these three prisoners who encounter a monster as they're trying to escape, and then the monster chases them back into prison where it gets murdered. It's a full narrative. Absolutely a full narrative.
No, that's a whole story. That is absolutely a whole story.
Right, and it just allows you to kind of fill in the background information because it starts, I guess, what writers would call in medias res, but because I would assume it's the moment in which the prisoners have encountered the main conflict of their narrative.
But it takes a while. Like that narrative develops, right? I mean, it's not, that's not a clear statement of narrative right at the beginning. It's a narrative you have to work out all the way from going where I went right at first, like, oh, there's me, to, oh, not only is that not me, that's my enemy, and there are more of them, and there's a reason they're here, right? And there's a reason I'm chasing them, and there's a reason they're doing what they're doing. That's that kind of uncovering all the pieces of that. It's really remarkable.
Yeah. Yep. I was very impressed with that. When I sat down and played that, first of all, I was really pissed at first because I was so dedicated to the idea that I was the man in orange. And I was about to tell Dave, like, hey, just so you know, I think there's a bug with your game. I was literally typing out the message.
When it suddenly hit you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm not Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm going to play it one more time. And I launched the game. And then I noticed when I was hitting the keys that the feet were moving up and at the top of the screen. And I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. This is so cool. So yeah, great job. Great job, Dave.
No, that just if that were the only thing that ever came out of the whole Neophyte enterprise, that would be worth it.
Yep, absolutely.
We should post Dave. Come to my MFA program.
Yeah, Australian.
Maybe we could do a distance learning or something.
We probably could.
I think SIU had an Australian football player.
Yeah, there you go. Do you play football, Dave? Okay, so now let's turn our attention. Squish Buff Dave says, "Thanks so much, guys." Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no. That's exactly. Thank you.
Now we're going to run the next game. I should probably share it. And this,
that might be best.
Or we could watch it in the reflection in your eyeballs.
That's true. You could always do that. So this is Dust's Echo.
Dust's Echo. Wow. And that's like a poem.
Is it?
Well, I mean, not a particular poem.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
Just saying. It's very poetic. Oh, look at that. Oh, so it's a planet with a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I love these things that reveal themselves.
Right.
Mm-hmm. These things that finally give you enough clues that you go, oh, and look how simply it's done.
Right.
Like this is a great illustration of how little you need to make me perfectly satisfied that I'm in outer space, in orbit around a huge planet with a ring.
Right. Yeah.
Like a shot from an old science fiction movie.
Yeah. Well, and this game really reminds me of First of all, it was submitted by Dom and Gorilla, so go check that out. And everybody who's watching. But this game reminded me at the end that I wished I had added a category called Best. Sorry, I didn't realize there was going to be semi-trucks driving in a neighborhood. That I had added a best category for, or a category for best splash screen or best menu.
Yeah, that's really good.
Best UI would probably be.
That's a good category. Oh, there they go again. Looks like a pickup truck. It's really hauling ass.
So this one's a little bit long, and we probably won't get all the way through it. But
okay.
And
see, this makes me want to play it in VR.
Oh man, imagine this game in VR.
This would be badass in VR.
Just wait too. Among the myriad fragments of the distant far isles, a lone traveler arrives at the settlement of Dust Echo. Their mount is marked with the emblem of the Foxtail clan. On the seat of their mount sits a package with an edict written by the clan lord himself. It commands the personal delivery of the package to Vagara Grin, an old acquaintance. So this is like what was called the mount or the steed, right?
Got it. Cool.
The old Western theme.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was quite a leap.
Oh.
Ugh. Oh, in VR, this would freak me out.
Yep. So I think
I could never do this.
It like with mouse and keyboard or in VR.
No, well, either. In VR, I would be better at the gameplay, but I would also be pissing myself.
Yeah.
I can play games in VR way better than I can with mouse and keyboard, but they affect me a lot more powerfully.
Right.
But even this my palms are kind of sweating from those chasms.
Right. You approach what appears to be an old radio duct taped onto a stick. From outside the fortifications of the town walls, the silhouette of a man peeks out from the main watchtower. A grizzled voice drifts from the radio. Who goes there? And then you can pick dialogue options.
Yeah. I think we're servant of the Lord of Foxtail. I don't think there's anything humble about us.
What brings one of the foxes skulk out to this trash heap? I have come to deliver a package on orders of the clan head himself.
Of the Soviet science fiction art style of the Gatekeeper.
Yeah. Did you say something?
I love the sort of old-timey RPG look of it.
Yeah.
You know? Like I would have played this on my 486 DX.
Yeah.
You know, and been so happy at how awesome the graphics were. Like, man, I'm in orbit. I'm jumping. There's a, you know.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, for me, I always just want to do this straight ahead. You know, I've come to deliver a package.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you all are probably better.
Oh, no. Not even.
Gatekeeper. Dude, calm down.
You must either be lost or have drawn the short end of the stick. Who's the lucky recipient? Vagara Grin. I see, old man Grin, huh? I can handle the delivery from here.
Grin. Be good. No, do not hand over the package, Dylan.
Okay. My master is not one who allows carelessness in carrying out his orders. But my instructions require face-to-face.
Either one is fine. Like, I don't like saying thank you to this dick.
Guess I shouldn't.
Gatekeeper.
No, you should not. Tell you what, you look like a nice enough guy. How about you do a quick thing for me and I can sneak you in? My wedding ring slipped off and floated off onto one of the smaller asteroids. I can't get it because I'm on shift, but you can, right? So now we can go back.
We can go back now.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, I do like it. I just...
Personally, it makes you uncomfortable because of the height.
I so want a VR port of this.
It would be very cool if it were VR.
Oh, man.
You walk towards the ring sitting in the dirt. It's scratched and worn, barely a hint of shine on its surface. Let's just pick it up so we can get to the main island. As you retrieve the ring from the ground, there are distant sounds of shifting stone and leaf.
I don't like that. Whoa!
Yeah. So now it's a little bit difficult because for some reason these came out. And this, if I understand correctly, I think this game was made by a team of people. Oh, I died.
Oh!
I hit one of the spikes.
Okay, but it didn't blow you up. To me, they look like
Mines.
Oh yeah, like
ship.
yeah, right. Ooh.
So I just assumed it was gonna blow you to Kingdom Come.
Okay. The radio crackles to life. Whoops, looks like some Artesian barb sprouts hit their maturation phase while you were out. Would have warned you if I knew they were in bloom. Anyways, come on in. So the platforming is kind of difficult in this game, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten this far, but that's I'm incompetent at this stuff.
Okay. The view before you is less than spectacular if described mildly. A thin layer of dirt and dust cakes most of the buildings here, which are all in poor shape already. The town does not feel like a place where people live so much as an ailing beast on its last legs.
Wow, that's nice.
The pros?
That's good. I mean, that's good simile, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's less a town than it is a beast.
Yeah, right. Even given the state of most of the frontier settlements, this place looks rough. Shattered windows and broken boards pepper the environment like the aftermath of some crazed bar brawl spilled across town.
They use the color text the color text is the graphic fidelity, right? So you have minimal graphics,
right?
But the way you sort of make the graphics work is with color text.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that just means it depends on the quality of the color text.
Right.
And I think this is pretty good.
Oh, I think that some of these lines are like superior to a couple of the writers in our program. Like, right.
Couple.
Yeah, a couple. Well, probably.
No, I wish they wrote about things as interesting as shitty frontier towns.
Yeah, right. Well, and just like, shattered windows and broken boards pepper the environment. I remember when I first got into the MFA, I didn't know that you were supposed to verb like that. You know what I mean?
Like use interesting verbs.
Yeah, right. Like
muscular verbs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. These are good muscular verbs that I didn't use. I had to have the MFA teach me. So like, what the hell, hardly the environment you would expect for an acquaintance of the Foxtail Lord. So we can kind of explore, and we can talk to the gatekeeper up here, for example. And we'll probably go just a little bit longer on this one. But this is your character design.
Oh, okay.
I have a few
questions. Look like Son of Ozu.
Son of Ozu?
Yeah, it's what is a desert punk, Clevo?
Yeah.
Son of Ozu?
Yeah, if I recall.
Anime.
I see. Okay.
It's an amazing anime, actually. It starts out so stupid and immature that you're just like, oh, screw this. But by episode 24, you're just weeping. I mean, it's one of the most amazing evolutions. And the question is it an evolution of a character or of your understanding of the character?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's really the evolution of your understanding of the character. So it's really, you're the one who matures.
Interesting. Which is kind of
really interesting.
Which is kind of the gamified aspect of narrative, right? Like that is somewhat of the game that you are playing with when you're playing a linear narrative like a novel or an anime, right? So that's very cool. I have a few questions, so you can kind of. This is one of those dialogue trees where you can gather. Which way is Grin? Not particularly sure. Haven't seen him in a while. Actually, if you find him, could you let me know? At his age, you never know if you need someone to keep an eye on him. Well, which way is his house? It's the one with the most broken glass around it. He had a bit too much to drink last night. So we'll move on from here so we can meet a couple more characters. But at this point, it kind of opens up into this small little town, which
seems really well developed. I mean, there's a lot to it.
yeah, right. And so you can kind of explore a little bit, and I think they do a pretty good job of like utilizing, you know, right angles to indicate with the limited time and budget that they have, using right angles.
A right angle is an organic. I mean, inorganic.
Right.
Thing, right, is a human structure, and
Right.
a curve or a broken line is an organic structure.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Smart. It's really smart.
Yeah.
See, but that's such, you know, that's the equivalent of, you know, an economy of language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Toaster Struder says there's a fair bit that you're able to glean considering how few people you actually get to talk to, which is, yeah, and I think that that's a good testament to the way that it's designed in the prose itself. You approach a large man standing in front of a saloon. Hello there, large man. Hi there, stranger. Anything I can do for you?
Mustache.
Yeah. Yeah, it has a sense of kind of, you know, Caracas a little bit, little Dune-ish. Can you tell me what happened to the windows? Windows? Oh, those. Well, there was a pretty crazy thing last night. What happened last night? Some trouble. Don't know the details myself. Anything I can do for you? Do you know where Old Man Grin is? Do you know where that wily bag of bones is? Oh, I don't know where he is myself. Well, if you see that old bat, you tell me, you hear?
Uh-oh. Well, so he's just gone.
Yeah, right. So and then we have another person. The woman you see looks worn and haggard, not just an entire but atmosphere. The areas around her eyes look slightly red and puffy while her gaze is locked downward. As you approach closer, her eyes quickly dart up and look at you, then quickly jump away as though afraid to focus on you. Hello? Oh, hello there, stranger. Sorry, my mind's been preoccupied. Hello there, stranger.
Yeah, see, there you go. Do voices, Dylan.
Is there something wrong?
There's clearly something wrong.
Nothing, really. Just a lot of things happening recently.
A sandstorm?
Just a lot of things happening recently. Nothing to trouble a random stranger over. She tries to stretch a smile across her face, but it's not very genuine. I have a few questions, if you don't mind. Do you know where Old Man Grin is? In her demeanor at his mention.
Uh-oh.
Nope, haven't seen Mr. Grin lately.
All right. So someone has murdered this dude.
Right.
We need to lay waste to the whole place.
Right.
And take off, nuke the site from orbit.
Exactly. It's the only way to be sure.
And so to kind of sum up, because we unfortunately have to move on to the next submission, but the story goes on where you're kind of unraveling this mystery of what happened to Old Man Grin, in addition to kind of figuring out what happened to the town, and it's a really cool mystery.
No, it's a good. I mean, again, you know, it's a detective story, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the oldest forms of story.
Right.
The detective story, because it's a natural narrative form.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, in a detective story, you don't have to explain like why are you doing anything. It's like Lord Foxtail told you to drop this off.
Right.
And, you know, you have to give it to this guy, and so when he turns out to be missing, you just naturally become a detective, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
absolutely.
I mean, it's what was the film I saw last week? It was a film with John Hawkes.
Okay.
If you know John Hawkes, he was a sort of a second fiddle in Deadwood, and he played he's kind of a thin guy who and he plays a disgraced cop who kind of finds himself turning into a detective.
Interesting.
Just accidentally.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here, right? Like, this guy's not a detective, but in order to do his job, in order to be a UPS man for the Foxtail clan,
right,
he has to become a detective.
Yeah, right.
It's Fallout New Vegas, right? Sort of you're shot in the head and you have to find out who shot you.
Right.
and you're a delivery man.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Yeah.
gives me big New Vegas vibes, which is a great thing.
Which is it one, it's just a very good intuition from a storyteller's perspective, right? Like
No,
I'm
it is.
I'm
It's,
often amazed by the submissions to these jams because when you say make a narrative game, they they make a game and then they somehow end up intuiting narratives super well, you know.
it's, it's, it's that charisma of the storyteller,
Right.
right? It's just you want to tell a story badly enough to tell a cool story.
Right. Yeah. Um so the next one I thought was quite interesting. This one I'll have to actually just share my my web browser with you. Okay, so this one I think Pinckney will find particularly interesting. Um,
I'm already totally in love. I we'll have to bring it on the stream at some point. But uh, my first publications were text adventures in 1985
uh-huh.
for the Commodore 64.
Yeah.
And I just discovered a VR Commodore 64 emulator, and now I can play the text adventures I wrote as a senior in college in VR on a simulated Commodore 64, and like really authentically simulated.
Wow.
No, it is a trippy experience.
That
It's
is
really
so nuts.
It is crazy.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's like a damn fractal.
No, I mean it really is. Like yeah, I've been kind of thinking I need to write an article about it or something.
Yeah, that's totally worthy.
It's just weird, 35 years later, 36 years later, I'm in virtual reality playing a game I wrote, you know, when I got my first computer.
Yeah, right. Oh, Squishy Puff Dave has an excellent suggestion. He says you should ask Pinckney for terms to input because I don't know, but this game utilizes it. I mean, it is developed as though it is from that time, right? So,
Like what parser, the way our parser worked was it was a two-word parser, two-term parser, and it only recognized the first four letters of every word. Right? So you had a maximum of 8 letters and a space that you could use to communicate.
Okay, and so Dave also says this one really rewards familiarity with parser-based text adventures. So I'm going to go ahead and say no because I don't know what that means. I'm in a laser cannon left-right. Vic Adventure by Jeffrey Daniels, dedicated to Scott Adams, Tomohiro Nikki.
So it's a text version. It's a text version of Space Invaders.
Yes, I believe so.
That is so smart.
Above me is an army of alien invaders. What shall I do now?
Well, what do you do in Space Invaders, right? You shoot.
Right, okay. So shoot.
So shoot aliens.
And Tomohiro Nishikata is the creator of Space Invaders.
Oh, is it? Tomohiro. Oh, no
Yeah.
kidding. That's
And
funny.
Satoru Iwata is the late president of Nintendo.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Damn, Cleveland. A laser missile here's into the night sky, narrowly by its target and fading into the darkness. Oh no, we missed.
Yes. What shall I do now?
All right. Well, so we want to move either left or right, I guess.
Okay. So left.
Sure.
I press the control. My laser cannon rolls left. The jackboot march and oscillating motions of the aliens terrify me. What shall I do now?
It's what a weird meta idea. I am so impressed. Like now I'm thinking like, what would Centipede be like as a text adventure?
Right.
Battle
Zone text adventure.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of anything to do except to shoot. I want to be smarter than that, but I don't I don't know how to be smart in this game. I mean, what we could do is like look. We could examine things.
Okay.
Um,
I sit hunched in the cramped cockpit of a laser cannon. What shall I do now? That was the look command.
see, and to look at things really inventory. Try inventory.
Okay. Carrying nothing but a cold,
Okay.
but a cold.
Since these strangers in the sky arrived, I am completely in love with this. Okay. Inventory. See, I'm trying to remember what I'm trying to picture Space Invaders, in my head.
Right.
What I mean, do you want to? We actually, one of our text adventures, one of the ones from 1985, is actually, you don't know it, so spoiler alert if anybody wants to look up the Trilogy of Time for the Commodore 64. The ROMs are still out there, but there was one we wrote that you think you're you think you're sort of involved in a Civil War battle, but you're actually just in a chess game.
Oh, interesting.
And if you play the chess game out, you can see what's actually happening. So it's that kind of limited perspective of something that most people could see, from far away.
Right. So was there a command?
We were very tricky. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Do we want to do anything but shoot again? Yeah.
We'll try shoot. A laser missile blares into the night sky, striking the enemy in an explosion burst.
Yes. All right. So, do we need to move left or right and shoot, or do we just keep shooting? Like, what do you do in Space Invaders?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll go right.
It'll help us. Oh, right. My laser cannon rolls right. Okay. Well, so
shoot.
Are people in the chat helping?
Unfortunately not. Toaster Struder says being smart in this game is quite difficult. Blares into the night sky, passing just between the alien columns. Another miss.
Okay.
Maybe right again, because I think we're now back to center.
Okay, sure.
So right. My laser cannon rolls right. An enemy strike shakes the ground beside me.
Oh. Well, I guess you want to shoot.
Yeah, shoot. A laser missile blares into the night sky, smashing into a target, obliterating any life inside. What shall I do now?
Well, either move or shoot, right?
Right. Let's just do shoot. Blares in the night sky, narrowly slipping by its target and fading into the darkness. Hey, Squish Buff Dave, can you give us a word that we can type besides shoot or left or right? Let's see. Ask. Above me is an army of alien invaders. What shall I do now? I just, the problem is I've never played any of these, so I don't know. I don't know the commands.
Yeah, I mean, the thing you can look. Usually, I mean, in games like Zork, right, which is the original text adventure, you can go north, south, east, west,
Okay.
That kind of thing. But not here. You can't. I mean, you can go only left or right. I'm assuming, because you're a two-dimensional being.
Well, Squishbuff Dave did just say go north, so
okay.
So let's try that. Go north. All sense of direction is lost.
Oh, no.
Go.
Because we're two-dimensional. Okay.
Go east. All sense of direction is lost. Shoot. A laser blares into the night sky, striking the enemy in an explosive burst, left-right.
Okay.
Let's see.
Try up. Because it's two-dimensional, so try up.
Nothing.
Go up. Okay.
Go. Oh no. Oh no. No matter what I type, it typed out surrender. I couldn't type anything else.
We come in peace. So we could have just surrendered right away,
Yes.
and we wouldn't have had to kill all those aliens and
Yep.
spend so much time afraid.
Yep. Exactly.
All right. Well, I am completely won over by nostalgia and by the decision to render a 2D video game as a text adventure.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very
Yep.
cool. Vic
Yep.
Adventure by Jeffrey Daniels. So
And Vic Adventure, I guess the Vic 20 was the Vic 20 like the predecessor to the Commodore 64.
yeah, but yeah, because he makes quite a the original version of this game is a .prg file, so you actually have to download a Vic emulator to play it.
Okay.
And
That's neat.
yeah, which is pretty sweet. I just downloaded or I just went to the browser version of it for the sake of the stream, but yeah. So Toaster Shooter says it throws you for a loop and grabs your attention. Yeah, the game is very interesting in that way. I just couldn't believe that we got something like that. You know what I mean?
No, it's really unique.
Yeah.
What I love is how different all these are. Like, I mean, they could be from different universes.
Right. I know, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
All the different approaches. And again, like, in an MFA class, the approaches tend to be very cookie cutter.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's trying to do the same thing. Everybody's trying to write a story where you learn a lesson, but the lesson that you learn is that humanity is flawed and broken and you'll never get laid.
Right.
Right. Which I just take to be an MFA.
Maybe the authors won't, but of those
Yeah.
won't. But
So yeah, I it's just nice to see like different worlds, different aspects.
Right. Different play styles, different everything. So can you guys can see this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because this is Poyura. This is the one that Two Links and I made,
Okay.
and
good.
we'll end on this one today. You can hear that, right? Okay.
I've got it turned up. I love the background rumble.
Yeah.
It's creepy, very atmospheric.
Yeah. Two Links did a great job.
Young Phoenix. Where could she be going in the middle of the night? The dreadful barrier. I love the little up and down.
Yeah.
Oh, and the little lanterns casting their light.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
No, the dreadful barrier. Watch out. What lies behind the barrier? I don't know, but it's blood sperm.
they should probably see a doctor about that.
If your sperm looked like this,
You should absolutely go to the hospital.
I should
Especially
know.
if it's
Okay, good idea. Go home.
especially if it's been
No,
doing
this
that
is
for more than 4 hours.
So this is the refusal of the call,
Yep.
right? Okay, good. Well done. The refusal of the call.
Yep.
Now let's see how that plays out. Anything come beyond that barrier to take what's mine? I'll club it dead. Okay, that's me.
I knew it.
Go with fair enough. Yeah, let's see him try. I love that guy. Oh, yeah, it's true. And we just let her go because we're Luke Skywalker before they burned up Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Oh. Oh no. Oh.
Your grief is no more than any other.
Ooh.
We aren't discussing who lost the most.
Well, somebody was.
The question is, should we not end it now? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
As in
I hope-
self-slaughter, yes.
that's what I was scared that he meant. No.
Jonestown, drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, don't do that.
Perhaps I'm all alone. Perhaps. Come, Baker. What do you make of this madness? I agree with his sentiment or no?
Oh, never.
No. I saw one of the creatures. The prey man? Yes, it called me malignant. Malignant? It viewed me as a tumor. It views us all as tumors. And what does this mean? Oh, it means...
that's going to be the anagnoresis here. Mm-hmm. It's going to turn out we are actually cancer living in the body of some person.
Thank God.
And the blood sperm was a blood-brain barrier.
It is foolish to believe that an ant given enough hope will ever triumph over the foot of an elephant. But fine. Those who wish to perish by the barrier, do so. Those who wish to choose their passing, take this last night, and we will congregate here tomorrow.
Damn, Mayor. Koresh.
There's an old lady back here. I drew her.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Young Baker, hello. You seem cheerful, despite the circumstances. What's not to be cheerful about? Everything?
I agree, old lady. Good for you.
The pesky barrier? This is but a phase. A phase? One eddy in a long stream. It threatens to consume us. That doesn't concern you? It is written about, these times, by people far more dead than I. If you can believe it. What did they write about it? Did you never go to our archives? Tisk tisk. What would Poyer have said?
Bitch.
What did they say? A turtle upturned, legs flipping in the air. Try as it might, it stays stuck on its shell. Get it?
Let me tell you about my mother.
Go on, please. Folk try to erect a church, but on the last brick it all topples down again. None of the pieces are broken, though. So they try and try and try again. Get it? I don't. Ah, I see your problem. The turtle and the folk. When asked why do you keep doing this? Do you know what they say? No.
I don't know what they say.
Liar. You're right. They say, out of spite, I live in spite of the absurdity. That is our town. That is us. It's how we've always been and always will be.
Oh, negative capability. The old lady possesses the Keatsian quality of negative capability, right?
Yep. So now we'll sleep. I guess this is it. We're going to stop here in a minute, but
okay.
It's night again. We're awoken in the night as the young baker. So folksy, Squishy Puff Dave says. Poor Yura. I miss you.
Well, I love the small scale of it, right?
Yeah.
I love that it's this little dinky, whoa, shit. I love that it's this dinky town.
Right. Why are you doing this? Presumptuous.
This reminds me of the games we used to play, even like when my daughter was little.
Right.
You know, games like Busy Town and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you go, you know, busy when the sun comes up, busy when the sun goes down. I mean, it was horrible. Busy. All you ever did was fucking work. Like that's all you ever did. You'd get up, you'd harvest the grain.
Yeah.
You'd take a fucking rhino or whatever. The rhino would bake some bread. Then you had to distribute the fucking bread. Oh my god! I mean, it really was
the great Soviet game.
Yeah, it was a nightmarish version of life. And literally, the song was "Busy when the sun comes up, busy when the sun goes down, busy town, busy town." And it was just, we were tired. We had a child, and it was made us want to die. I'm reminded. This is like intentionally grim. This game makes me want to die as a purpose.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that was what we were going for.
He's not buying into it, right? Like
right.
The whole problem with Busy Town was it was like everyone was telling you how goddamn lazy you were, which was enough of my boyhood. I didn't need it as an adult and a parent. So I'm sorry. I was just having some flashbacks there.
Well, I'm glad that we gave you a flashback to a time in which you wanted to die.
little PTSD. Well, the game made me want to die. I mean, I actually enjoyed being a young father because I was young.
Except when
Oh,
Busy Town is being played.
Yeah, I hate this guy.
Yeah, like
Yeah, beyond the barrier. Just defy him.
Called out to me. Don't give in.
Give in? We're not. You're the one who's giving in.
How it's killing us. Cancer cells kill themselves.
Not technically. There's another specific type of cell.
That's the sound in here is great. Can you hold still just a minute so we can hear the sound?
Uh-huh.
Does this shotgun make you feel like you've ended a bloodline? Because that's how video game shotguns should feel. They should just be monsters.
Yeah, you'll see.
This is great sound. Okay. Oh, look, it's a baby. It's a little fetus.
That's what I thought too.
Oh, is it Phoenix?
Yeah. They worship youth, fear death. I'm not heavenly. Oh, you, Baker. Our Phoenix, you're alive. This place. I cannot believe you're still alive. Alive? No, I'm not. It's gone. All gone.
Oh.
The raven has flown, cawing across the land. Terrorist raven calls down to me. What? The void is as warm as it is cold, don't you think? You mean where we are? Leave me alone.
So it's the dialogue on any given date you ever had, Dylan.
Yep, every single one.
And you just pestered.
I think you just recorded that from a previous date.
It is. Yep, indeed.
Oh wait, that's cool. What is that doing? What's that mechanic?
You're aiming.
Yeah. Okay.
So you'll see. We'll get to the first kind of encounter, and then we'll call it.
Yeah. Wow. Man, vaporized.
Oh no, I'm gonna die.
No. That's so funny. You die in your own game.
Yeah, right. We'll give it another try. Oh my god. Oh no.
Really? Oh look, you should come and play with them forever and ever and ever.
Run.
Okay, that's a good video game shotgun.
It's very good. Two Lengths did an utterly incredible job with the shotgun.
Wow. I mean, for looking so naive, I love that the violence is really violent.
Yeah, that was a big intention for us in the game.
Scary things are actually scary. They make scary noises
Mm-hmm.
and move in a scary way.
Right. Yep. And just the shotgun, man. Just boom.
Yep. Yeah. No, it feels like you've really got a reason.
Mm-hmm. And the reload time takes forever. I think it's like 15 seconds or something. It's nuts.
Like it's forever. But if it's an uploader. Ooh. What? Oh, where is Portugal? Oh, Portugal! Almost.
So yeah, I think we can call it there.
Okay, yeah. It's time for us to head out. We don't want to clog up the airwaves.
Right. But yeah, so those were the first half.
That's such a delight, man.
Yeah.
I am.
So cool.
I mean, this wouldn't be a job. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if this were workshops,
Mm-hmm.
if people came in with stuff like this and they were like, okay, and here was my thinking, and
Right.
I tried to figure out how to get around my technical limitations, and do the things that interested me, and
Mm-hmm.
we could talk about what story elements were there.
Right.
I will tell you as a critique, Dylan, that I think to push your character past the refusal of the call has to be it has to be a more powerful push.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that was the thing, was I was relying on the repetition of Poyura as a sense, but it didn't come out in the actual finished product as much as I expected, which was interesting because there's the Poyura refrain that is kind of said throughout the various NPCs, and it's meant to call beyond the protagonist.
I would have had the second the first one you meet on that second night say it too. Along with the malignant line.
Right. The
I
ignorance,
would
yeah.
Yeah, I would have it say Poyera on that night too. That specific one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, or some, where there's just some, right? Because in Star Wars, it really is. It's like the death of his aunt and uncle. Like, there's no way he's left with nothing but the call.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's the question, is like, how do you, and I guess, well, the town's going to kill itself. You know what I mean? And so he has to do something, but it's a little other directed, I guess.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. In that the refusal of the call is, generally speaking, it's not like, oh, because if you were going to respond on humanitarian terms,
Mm-hmm.
right, or altruistic terms, the hero would actually respond to the first call.
Right.
Right? Because the first call is like, come with me to Alderaan. It'll be an adventure. You can tell them what you've seen. Or, oh, the princess has gone beyond the blood barrier. I need to follow her because the princess is really important to us, and I can, maybe I'll save her. But the hero is interesting because rather than responding to the altruistic impulse, right, the hero in the journey says no to the altruistic impulse, and then the world has to be destroyed or reordered in such a way there's nothing left for the hero except to say yes to the call.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like it's
and it's just so cool, right? Because we would think, oh, well, he's the hero. Like, of course he's going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, he's the hero because he refused the right thing. And so his world got wiped out, or not even necessarily as a consequence, although it sometimes is. And, and now there's nothing else to do.
Right. Yeah. He has no other choice. Yeah.
Right. So I want the baker to really be, because like the baker does he refuses to call. He goes, it's really comfortable here. Like, he's a baker, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, and he like goes home and he's like, oh, bread smells good, and like, he's a busy town guy. He's a hobbit.
Yeah.
Right. And so so then what's the thing that changes?
Well, and it's because for me, like the refusal of the call for the journey and the hero's journey is the demonstration of the flaw of the character, right?
It's the thing the character has to grow beyond.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's why the character has to face the dragon.
Right. Yep.
Is because the character's satisfied, even if the character, like Bilbo or like Luke, expresses a kind of dissatisfaction, a kind of subtle or subterranean dissatisfaction with the origin home, right? When faced with, well, let's go on an adventure, say the dwarves, or says Obi-Wan Kenobi. I didn't like this place this morning, but now that you're saying, let's do this weird thing, not so much, right?
Right.
And so, no, you're right. You've got it right. I'm not criticizing the structure. I'm just saying I need to understand why he reverses on the refusal of the call better than I currently.
Yeah, and I think what actually solves my issue there, or solves our issue there, is by placing one of those Poyura effigies in his bedroom the night that he goes in beyond the barrier, right?
Like all of a sudden now this stuff isn't just beyond that portal. This stuff is in his house.
Right. It's too late.
So now his house is is infested with whatever this is.
Right.
And so if he wants his comfortable house back, he has to go out and defeat this infestation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't. No, that's a really smart solution. And I love, see, one of the things I love about games is people can understand when we talk about mechanics, people
Mm-hmm.
can understand how to solve their mechanical problems.
Right.
And in a story, when you say, okay, well, here's the mechanic you're employing, right? The average MFA student says, oh, I'm not employing any mechanics. I'm
Right.
just
Right.
forging in the smithy of my
Yeah. Right. The machinations of my inner being.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. These emanations of my penumbras, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and they, whereas in games, you just go like, okay, there are mechanics to this. There are rules
Right.
to any game. There are rules to baseball. How do you get to first base? How do you get to second?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, stories that are told as contemporary fiction, people believe there's no structure. They don't owe anything to the way the brain is made.
Right. It's almost
You know,
like
whereas like it, but you would have, if you had written this as a story, that same solution would solve your problem,
absolutely. Yeah.
right?
100%. Mm-hmm.
So you know, so it's just so cool that it all works no matter what form you're in.
Right. If it's a storytelling medium or has the potentiality to be a storytelling medium, the classical ancient storytelling techniques are always going to apply.
That's just how our brain works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like it's just, you know, you got you know however many millions, you know, 100 million years or more of biology,
Right.
you know, kind of backing up your story. You just can't beat that. Like
No.
you can't create it and you can't overcome it.
No.
So you might as well figure it out and use it.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's beautiful, man. That's really impressive. I love that, and that's going to be a great calling card for what we're doing in you know what we're doing in the digital humanities lab and with Neophyte.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's really cool. I mean, just all of this. So Toaster Struder actually goes to maybe I shouldn't blow up their spot, but Toaster Struder's also a student, and we're gonna go into their game next week too, and so I'm excited about that. But yeah, so we'll have two games that we can at least show as being produced directly by the digital humanity or the efforts of the digital humanities lab, and then several other games which are in the orbit, right? And it's very cool.
Well, the thing is, like, let's start to discuss ways, and folks in the chat can think about this, or anybody who watches the stream later or sees it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But given that sort of our public face, the public face of the Digital Humanities Lab of the College of Liberal Arts at Southern Illinois University Carbondale is Neophyte, right? And given that these people are members of Neophyte, they're on the Discord, they watch the Twitch, they visit. Like, how can we use our resources? How can we extend our resources to these folks?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? How can we make elements of the lab or things that they need available to these folks beyond just our advice?
Right.
How can we reach out into the world and have them, produce, produce stuff kind of under the aegis of Neophyte Studios, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's the direction we're heading anyway. We want to become producers and publishers,
right?
Of fiction, game as fiction, and fiction as game as digital narrative.
Yeah.
So, like, what are actual concrete ways, that we can share? Given that we have a good facility, we have good access to, smart people. Like, is it making teams, helping people put, development teams together? Matchmaking among talented people? Is it, like software licenses?
Right.
Right? Like, do we get 100 seats for some, piece of software and make it available to people who are members of the Discord, or, however you all would want to do that. But how can Neophyte, and I know this is a behind the scenes discussion that we're having live on the air with never having discussed it before, but I really like the open source quality of Neophyte.
Me too. Yeah.
Like, it's an aspect, so much of academia is closed.
Right.
And we don't discuss how we do things, and we don't ask questions of other people, and we don't. So if you and the folks on the Discord and the folks who are involved with Neophyte and the folks you recognize want to have that discussion, then you can just tell me, right? Like, what can we do what can we do to like spread the love and you know, make the lives of people who are making exciting stuff easier.
Right.
Yeah. And sort of like if you register for the game jam, you can have access to this tool.
Right.
Or something like that.
Something
right.
along
And I don't know what's out there. So I'm depending on like let's crowdsource that question.
I agree. Yeah, I think
But I think
that's
it's
a
the
good
right
question.
I think it's the way we have to go, right? Like like Neophyte has to become this resource where you don't just, you know, I love the discussions, right? And I love the advice and playing stuff and the streams we're doing and the streams we're going to put up. But I also want there to be a sort of concrete set of resources.
Right. If we go beyond a, you know, an advice show, what does that look like?
Okay, you know, you're a member in good standing. You've done the following things. You know, you demonstrated you're part of this, you know, team or whatever. Here's what we can offer you, right, in exchange for the fact that you're contributing to what we're building.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
And then just as a quick thing, you guys can go ahead if you want, but just as a quick thing, so Caton Lauagiste, he asked me to do a quick plug for his game because we're actually not going to play it on stream. We're going to play it on the stream where we interview him, but he wanted to make sure that at least we got the splash card.
Is this okay?
This is Latin guy.
I'm so excited for that. Well, plug it, or can we just show it on screen?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So shout out to Caton. Okay, he's a nice guy. He's very pleasant. I'm excited to talk to him about his game, but in order to save time and keep the jam streams to 2 sessions, I kind of had to bump his off. But instead we'll just move it to his interview stream. So, but yeah, that's everything for us today. But thank you all for coming in.
Thank you. Yeah, because it's and we should try to get Ballard. Maybe we should get Mont Allen on.
Mm-hmm. That'd
for
be
that.
Cool.
Mont Allen is a great faculty member.
Yeah.
He's a member of the classics faculty here, and a great guy. And he's so electric, like he's such a personality.
Cool.
It'd be great if we could get him to have a show on the network.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Mont would be so popular.
Yeah.
People love that guy.
Yeah. No, that'd be cool. That'd be very cool. Okay, guys.
Fun. Thank you, Dylan, for doing all the mechanical stuff and running things, knowing what was happening, and
keeping it organized.
Making it possible for me to nap right up until right before the started.
No problem. I love working.
That's what I like, man.
I love working. It's so fun.
Okay. Well, good.
All right.
Well, this was super.
Yeah.
See you all next week.
See y'all next week.
See ya.